class is your is your last unit exam of the second quarter, particularly for those who said, well, if your mark isn't where it needs to be, you've got to show me. I mean, if it's, your mark is a 70 and you want a 90, that's probably not going to happen with one test. But at least you can move it in the right direction by going through and making sure that your marks are higher than whatever the previous ones were if you're looking for improvement. And frankly, this unit, I think, is relatively easy. So I hope that we can go through and get this done. Now, first question's up. We should be able to do most of these without a calculator. You can use them to go through and check. Looking at what's here, some of these are more interesting than others. I put these ones on here that are difficult. And yes, if you want to go in and mash buttons on a piece of plastic, that's fine. It's not going to make you any smarter, though. Take a look at the first question. 64 to this power is going to give me 1 over 32. 64 to some power is going to give me 1 over 32. Has anybody got a guess as to how I can start off with a 62? What I can do to it, what power I can raise it to? Sorry, for 64, to get it down to even a 32. What would I have to do to the 64? It's a two-step process. Peter? Now, if you raise 64 to the 1/2 power, that's the same as the square root of it. What's that going to give you? What's it going to give you? 8. What?
How about 64 to the power of -2/3? So it's going to be...
That would require us, just so we're on the same page, we raise it to the -2/3 power, we're going to hit a roadblock right away. What's the third root of 64? What times itself 3 times gives you 64? We don't know. Nope. Well, wait, sorry. That gets you, what's the third root of it? You'll get something, but what is that something going to be? 4. And 4 to what power gives me 32?
Oh,
There isn't one, but he's the closest so far.
Oh,
How can you break this down, raise it to a power such that it will go to 1 over 32? Tyler?
You have to raise it to the -5/6 power.
When you do that, it's power over root. What's the 6th root of 64? What times itself 6 times gives you 64? Hands up, please, when you can answer that. And everyone in this room should be able to answer that. It's not some mystery. What? 2. And then 2 to what power gives me 32? 2 to what power gives me 32? Yeah. 5th. The problem is we need not 32, but what? 1 over 32. So this would be -5/6. Questions on that? Next one up. 3 to this power gives me the square root of 27. And boy, there's a lot I see here that I want to handle. First thing up, what's the square root as an exponent going to be, Taylor? Mm-hmm. No, what is the square root as an exponent? Hands up, please, when you can tell me what's the square root as an exponent. 1/2. Now, let's simplify this down. What can I do with that exponent if I'm looking to evaluate this out all the way? What's something that you can do on this? Boy, it's going to be a bloodbath. Yeah. We move the exponent to the front. So now, that gets me to 1/2 times log base 3 of 27. Now let's answer this. 3 to what power gives me 27? Hands up, please, when you can tell me. 3 to what power? Third. So this would be 1/2 times 3, which is 3 over 2. Questions on that? Let's go forward with the next one. Log base 2 of 4 raised to the log base 2 of 8 power. What can you and I love, people will shut down. What? What is it?
3.
So far, we've got log base 2 of 4 to the third. Can you keep going?
Yeah.
What?
4 to the third. Which would be 64, so we log 2 of 64. And then that will simplify down to 6.
You could actually do it another way. I saw it just a simpler way. Does anybody see an alternate way to get to that same answer? No. Who sees how it's similar to how we handled the last one? Yeah. Yeah. 3 times 2, it's going to get you to the same answer that you had before. It's just a little simpler without a calculator. Now take a look at the next one. Yes.
Actually, on that one,
Mhm.
I said log 2, or log base 2, 4 is 2, and log base, oh wait, but it's only being raised
Mhm.
to, okay, I actually didn't know that.
Take a look at the one now in the bottom corner. What are we going to do to simplify that, or what will we do to go forward with it? Johannes, what do you want to say? Hands up, please, and tell me what 192 divided by 3 is going to give you. Don't want to ruin it. There's a common theme. Yeah. 64. If only we had a way. If only we had a way. Trevor, what's log base 2 of 64? There you go. Oh, log base, sorry. That's log base 4 of 64. Can you still do that one, Trevor, or no? Perfect. Yeah. 4 to the third gives me that. Now here's another one that's going to require you to do some thinking. 16 to the log base 4 of 8 power. Now, this is log base 4 of 8. Let's evaluate that out. 4 to this power is going to give me 8. Can anybody tell me what the power I'd have to raise 4 to? And it's not 2. What power do you have to raise 4 to in order to get out? And if you need to, as a last resort, you can always evaluate this in the calculator. We're hoping to make you smarter than the plastic just a little bit. Peter? How'd you get that? There you go. Take the square root of 4, which means raise it to the 1/2 power, and then cube it. So this goes to 3/2. So we need to take 16 to the 3/2 power. Hands up, please, when you can tell me what 16 to the 3/2 power is going to be. Common theme?
64.
64. Questions on that? We'll bounce around a little bit. How about number 3? If we're going to go through and expand this out, hands up please if you can tell me how many log base 2's I'm going to have when I do my initial expansion.
2.
Not 2. What? Not 3. Who can tell me how many log base 2's I'm going to have when I fully expand out number 3? Really? How many terms are there in the argument? There's not 2. There's 4. What are they?
8 x squared radical y and z.
So I'm going to start off and I'll break this down. It's log base 2 of 8. We've got log base 2 of x squared log base 2 of radical y and log base 2 of z. What's happening between the first two? What are my operations, Noah, going across going to be?
It would be addition for the first two.
And
Addition for the subtraction.
we can do more. There's actually a heck of a lot more we can do. Look at that. Who can tell me what we can do to work forward? Go ahead.
That simplifies to 3.
Okay, keep going.
Can we add the second and the third?
No? You could, but it's not going to make it fully expanded. What else can we do? The exponent becomes the coefficient, so 2 times log base 2 of x. What else are we going to be listing out? Hands up, please. What else needs to be there when we fully expand? Really? Jonathan, what else do you want to give? Yeah, what's that going to become? No. 1/2 log base 2 of y, or you could put log base 2 of y over 2, and then minus log base 2 of z. Questions on that? That's fully expanded. Powers can go in front, etc. How about we look to simplify down the next one? Let's bounce down to number 5. Express that as a single logarithm. Looking at what's there, what can we do to get this down into one single simple logarithm? Who can tell me, please, what that's going to become when we expand it out? Go ahead.
For the last one, would it be log 2 25 plus 2?
Yeah, this goes to 25. You can keep going.
And then we strip it out.
So far we're here. What else can we tack on there? There's still more you can do. Oh, come on. Sarah, what can you do from here?
You put the 3 plus 25 in the bottom.
So what's this going to be? Who can tell me what the denominator is going to be? 2 people? Alexa? Nope. You're not applying any rules here at all. Why is it 75? This becomes what when we condense it down? Addition becomes what? Multiplication. So it's 25 and 3 multiplying together. There's still something missing in here, though. What? What about it? Where? Yeah, it's a power up here. So now we can keep going because this is a complex fraction. What would the numerator be when we went through and squared it? Emma K., what do you got? All divided by? Now there's a problem here. Instead of dividing by 75, what can I go through and do instead of dividing by 75? What's equivalent to division by 75? What?
Raise it up to
Nope. Not raising anything. Yep. Multiply by 1/75. So now we're at log of, this would be 4x squared over y squared. Now instead of dividing by 75, we multiply by the reciprocal of 75, which would be 1 over 75. That means this becomes the log of, we've got 4x squared all over 75y squared. Questions on that? Is it a lot? Sure. It absolutely is. We're not prepping you for some JV baseball game here. You've got to know, and by the way, does this reduce at all? No. You can check, type it in your calculator if you need it. Now, these we're going to solve out to the nearest tenth, and boy, this should be profoundly easy. Take a look at that first question. What's your first step going to be? Allison, what do you want to do to start off the first one? Divide 2 on both sides, so I have e to the 0.5x power is equal to whatever 45 over 2 is. So we get to here. What happens next? Peter? So what are you going to write out? No, what's the base of a natural log? E. Equals Logs and natural logs are equal to exponents. It's equal to the power. Now, before you blindly rush in, what's our next step? Because you're doing too much. Yeah. Now, by the way, you could have also written this out as what? What's an alternate way? Some of you very well may have this on your paper. Yeah.
Log base E 45.
Yeah, log base E of 45. Same difference. Go into your calculators, please. What is that going to come out to be to the nearest 10? Haley? $6.2, is that what we got? Yes or no? Thank you. Take a look at question number 2. What's your first step going to be, Jack? So I have the natural log of 3x is equal to what? By the way, always put your argument in parentheses even if it's not done for you. Now, the next thing that we would go through and do once we got to this, what would our next step be? Emily? Who can help us out? These need to be quick, guys. You're not going to finish. You won't finish the test. Yeah. Exponentiate. So what is this in exponential form? And what do you do to solve for x? So go into your calculator, type in e squared divided by 3. You can do it all at once. What is that going to give you rounded appropriately? Alyssa? 2.5. Questions on that? Next one up. Trevor, what are you doing to solve the next one out in 6?
Divided by -7.
So what do you get?
Log base 6 of a plus 8 equals -1.
You know what? I'll tell you right now, just personally, so appreciate it. Everything that he said right there was correct. He didn't say it like he had never seen the logarithm before. The language that you use matters, and you come across, whether you know it or not, you sound like a genius. Like a genius if you go through and say it right. So far, everything was perfect. Log base 6 of a plus 8 equals -1. Outstanding. Next thing up, Chloe, what do we do to solve? So what do you write now? And here's where I love. If you've got to go to a calculator, I don't know what room you've been in. What's 6 to the -1 going to give me? Hands up, please. We should have dislocated shoulders right now. What's 6 to the -1 going to give me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1/6. And can you keep going or not? What do you do from here? Subtract 8. Now, instead of subtracting 8, what is 8 if I make its denominator 8 as a fraction of 8 over 1? Make it have a common denominator now. You can go to the calculator, you can always check your answer, but think. Common denominator would be 6. What is 8 with a denominator of 6? How would I write out 8? What's it going to look like?
48 over 6.
48 over 6. So now, what is 1/6 minus 48/6?
47 6.
No,
Oh, wait, did I?
-47/6. Now, when you go into the calculator, it's going to give you some, I don't even know if you do an end solve. If end solve will give you a decimal. This may come out as a decimal or a fraction, but that's the actual answer. Questions on that? Look at this next question. So, it's what? It's a random rectangle. I don't know what it. I don't point out all your mistakes. Are you outraged and offended? Sorry. Can you not throw your shoes at me this time, please? It would be very appreciated. Take a look at the one over here. And I love it because you all start shutting down. Instantly, you will shut down. No reason to. None. Quitters. Don't be. You're better than that. Because if you persevere through and does this next one look like anything we've done before? Yes or no? Kind of, but we haven't explicitly done one like this. So guess what you do? You try. And you know what happens if it doesn't work?
Okay.
That's why God invented erasers. Maybe. I think there was like Adam and Eve, and then there was a third thing. There was an eraser in the corner, in case anyone ever screwed anything up. Now, start this off. What do you want to do to start? You tell me. Be a little bit of a problem solver. 1, 2, 3 of us. 4. Jack, what do you want to do? So what are you going to write out for us? All right, can you keep going, or are you tired? Okay, by the way, I don't want to assume too much. What's 6 to the first power? Okay, so we've got 6 equals log base 2 of x. So far, he's done wonders. What's next? We got one person who can tell me. Get real. 2. What? So what is it now? Can you keep going? What is it? Enough. Take a look at the next one. What are we doing to go forward in that? Caleb? So what is it going to be? Nope. Mm-mm. Take a look at that. You could. I actually would do that. So if I did that, it's not going to give me any different answers. It's just going to be a little bit easier. So if we did this, hands up please if you can tell me what's next. Tyler? So what do you got now? Who can tell me what we're doing from here? It's going to get you the same answer we had before. What do you do now? Making these connections. This needs to be automatic. This is, you go, I don't have enough time. This is why. These are things you're supposed to know. Code. What? And what is it? To get an answer, and don't go to the calculator yet, because you can do more right now. Johannes, what do you do to solve this? So e squared is equal to 2x. Oh, sorry, e squared plus 4 is equal to 2x. What do you do from here? So you've got e squared plus 4 over 2 is equal to x. What's x going to come out to be about? Hands up, please, when you can tell me. Yeah.
5.7.
Can you type that in to do an end solve? Yes or no? Yes or no? You absolutely can. Take a look, please, at the next one. Now, that should be a times. Change that to a times sometimes when you convert from another thing into these stupid Google Docs. They force you to use, they make you use Google Docs. Noah, what are you going to do to start? Subtract the 5. So we've got 5 times 3 raised to the x plus 2, or x over 2 plus 2 power is going to be equal to 100. What do we do now? Jason?
We have to divide 100 by 5, so it'll leave us to 20.
Okay, so we get to this point. What's next? Jonathan?
To try to get similar base.
Nope, we can't. 3 and 20 won't share a base. Who can tell me what we do now? Really? Really? 3 people? Woo! 4. Emma S., what do you say? There you go. What is this in log form? Okay. What do we do to get an answer from here? Sarah L.?
Would we solve out the log basically?
You can. We'll save that till the end. And then do what? Go into your calculators. How many have not signed in yet? Oh, by and large, pretty good. Go into your calculators, make sure, please, and let's make sure that we write this out the right way. Remember, this looks like they've got a good read and they love parentheses almost as much as I. Oh, careful. This is not right now. Who can tell me why this is not correct right now? Minus 2 is outside the parentheses there. And is that our answer? Can you go in and type that in NSolve to see? Yes or no? Okay. By the way, there's something on here, I guess, called polyroots, which goes through, remember how we have those great big long polynomials? It will literally tell you what the answers to that are. I'm finding out this calculator is so much, I don't think they should let you have it. Now, we get to here. What needs to happen in this next question? Hands up, please, when you can tell me what needs to happen here. This shows me if you've been doing your homework. We had a full day. You had 5 questions to do like this. What? There you go. So what's this going to look like when we condense it down? Mm-hmm. What do you do now from here? We just got Alexa. I'm okay. So 3 to the first gives me that argument. Now, here's one thing, too, that people forget. You all act as if this is like a holy language for you. Because we get to here, and everyone stops and like, I have no idea of what to do. Would we multiply both sides by x minus? I mean, you can. Common sense, though, 3 is what? What's the alternate way of writing 3? 3 over 1. When you see something like this, though, you automatically know what to do. What do you have to do? Cross multiply. So this would be 3x minus 9 is equal to 2x. You take the drastic step of subtracting 2x and adding 9. I always do letters to the left, numbers to the right. I got x equals 9. Boy, that was tough. Questions on that? Let's take a look at number 7. This question I love because it shows whether you get logs or not. And you can't be a slave to the calculator all the time. Which one is this going to equal? Well, let's start off with this. What's something that we can do to that? Just tell me something, an alternate way that we could go through and write out the original expression. Because we're going to hit it along the way if we're doing correct math. All you're doing is looking for equivalences. What do you want to say? Okay? So far, I'd say that's absolutely correct. What more can we do from here? Hands up, please, if you can tell me what's next. One person. We, what? Make the 4 a coefficient, but this is where you fall asleep on me. There's more to do right now. 2 of us see it. Oh, come on. Come on. Look at what's there. Think about the meaning of a logarithm, etc. What's there hiding in plain sight. Tyler?
Log of 1,000 is 3.
Why?
Because it's log base 10 and 10 to the third.
10 to what power gives me 1,000? It's equal to the exponent. So this is a 3. Which answer choice are we going to give? Can you use a calculator for that? No, which means that Reach is more likely to ask it. What's the log of 100? Hands up, please, when you can tell me. The log of 100. Oh, come on. Log of 100, what? 2. It's equal to the exponent. You'll get to a point where all of this now. We went over this the other day. On here, what are the things we need to make sure that you show? Hands up, please, when you can tell me the stuff you need to show in order to answer this out. Chloe, what's one thing? Put yourself in my shoes. You're prepping your team to go up against not some JV powder puffs like Thomas. We're talking, we're going to play football today, not against Thomas, not against, Cherry Ridge. By the way, I think even you guys could be gentle on that, although it is capital. You know what? We're playing here. We'll play Southern, or play Pittsburgh. They're so terrible. that they put both of their teams together to make some superpower. Even better than that, we'll play Aquinas to recruit people to their school. That's how good they are, and that's what we're prepping you for. If you're me, what do you want your players to show you when they're doing this out? One thing is a table, terrific. What else do you think I'm going to see that's going to make me so mad that I throw my shoe at you like Peter was going to throw his shoe at me earlier today? We got 3 people. What's one thing? Yeah. Put arrows on my graphs. What else? No nubs. None. There's a song a long time now, isn't there? No scrubs. For you, no nubs. Got it? Yeah, don't be a scrub. And don't give me, only scrubs give nubs. Make sure it's like that. Look at your graph right now. Go into your calculator, plug it in. I'm not going to make you plot points because you're not 5 years old. If you can't plot points, how did we get out of, what elementary school did you go to? I know kids from Plank South know how to plot points. Do you not like the people from Plank North? Did you hate the people from Plank North? Did you? To be honest. You did? I knew it. What were the Plank North people? Is any Plank Northers in here? Sorry. Might have some gang riots in here. Like in prison. What were the Plank North people called? Did you have a mascot?
Yeah.
What?
The Pioneers.
What were the Plank South people called?
Same as same.
You know what happens? Giant eagles like pterodactyls swoop down and eat the pioneers. That's how much better they are, right? Right? All right. Who can tell me, please, what's the equation of an asymptote for this? You're looking at the graph right now, aren't you? What's the equation of the asymptote of this graph? Hands up, please. We got one person. Get real. One person. No. Jonathan? X is equal to -1. What's the domain and range of this graph? Well, look at what's there. We'll list out our domain and range in interval notation. Allison, what's the domain going to be?
-1 is parentheses, positive.
What's your range going to be, Peter? Look at the graph. It falls forever and it rises forever. Negative infinity to positive infinity. How do you find the x-intercept? Hands up, please, if you can tell me. You're solving for the x-intercept. There you go. So let's do this out. We've got 0 equals log base 4 of the quantity x plus 1. How would we solve for x? Hands up, please, when you can tell me. Boy, this is tough. They really do challenge you on this.
Yes.
So this would be what in exponential form?
4 to the 0 or 1 is equal to x plus 1.
So this is 1 equals x plus 1. Shocker, what's x equal to? Which means your intercept is the origin. How do you find the y-intercept? Yeah? Do you need me to do that? Come on, stop it. Describe the end behavior. Now, we haven't done in forever. There you go. Function of the week. You're right. That's my fault. By the way, is this an f of x or a y equals? Which one? Okay, so I can't say y f of x goes to. It would be y goes to. So look at what's there. As I go out to the right, what is that graph going to? Positive infinity. It's rising, unbounded. What about as I go out to the left? What's the graph going to? Hands up, please. What? Say it. Not -1. Nope. As x goes out to negative infinity, you're saying y does too. There's a problem. What? Thank you. Y does not exist. You can't go to negative infinity because what do you run into as you're running along the x-axis out to negative infinity? A giant plate glass screen door. You're going to hit it right in the face. Take a look at the next question. Read out 9. Get going on 9.
I can't do word processing.
Tyler, what are we going to do to start this off?
We're gonna plug in, 11.5 for B.
You said 11.5 for P?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I made it negative. 11.5 over 14.7. Easiest question of the day? Probably. Now, just by the way, am I expecting you to do this by hand? No. Go into your calculator, type that in. Round it appropriately. Hands up, please, when you can tell me what that's going to be. Go ahead.
6.
What is that, feet? Questions on that? Easiest one you're going to do. You can type it right in the calculator and get it out. Take a look at 10. Was that what we got? Yes or no? Are you staring at me? Is that what we got? Okay. Take a look at question number 10. So this family wants to invest, has that much to invest, and wants to save $32,000 by the time their son starts college. They expect their money to earn that much a year, compounded quarterly. How many years to the nearest tenth of a year will they realize, or in how many will they realize their goal? Right away, you've got to make something out of this. That's not given to you. What do you need to know in order to answer this question? Fabulous. I was hoping to get no takers. Come on. Get real. What do you need to know in order to answer this question? It's implied you know something. We got 3 people who can make the connection. What's required to get an answer here? What? No, they are. They're putting as much in there. We're trying to see how long it's going to take for them to get there. Yeah. If we don't know our formulas, loves, I don't know when we're going to. Make your replacement in. So when I make my replacement in, what's this going to look like? Haley? Nope. What's the end? Jack? 4 because it's done quarterly. Keep going here. What's the power then going to be? Close. 4 times T power. Now your job right now is to solve. And by the way, you can always check your answer on this, no matter how complicated, by doing n solve on it. What's your first step going to be, Jack? Try and get that alone. Who can tell me what my first step's going to be? What? Divide both sides by 20,000. What do I get if I take 32,000 and divide it by 20,000? 8 over 5, so 8/5 is going to be equal to 1 plus. And I love, people think you actually have to compute this out. Do you have to compute out what the base is? No, not at all. So what do we do now to solve this out? Hands up, please, when you can tell me what gets done to solve this out. Jason?
Raise the 1 plus 0.06.
Nope. Already not right.
Put it in log.
Let's write it in log form. You're solving for this. So when we do this, it's log with a base of 1 plus 0.06 over 4 raised of 8/5 is going to be equal to 4t. What do I do now to solve for t? What's your next step? What do we do? Divide both sides by 4. So you can literally go into your calculator. And yes, it's a giant awkward mess. That's all right. You can do it. You type the whole awkward giant mess in. And shockingly, the calculator computes it out, just like any computer would. Press enter. Now, what is the answer rounded appropriately going to be? Emily? Is it 8 to the nearest year? Yeah, 8 years. Questions on that? Now, here's one that I need you all to make sure that you know. And to be honest, I made the exam after your class yesterday, but before the other section. So they know this that you don't already know. What I need all of you to do is to make sure, please, that you know this formula. Now, if only I could do something to signify that it was important. Somewhere on there, you've got to know what this is. Pencil to paper, you need to make sure you're writing that down. Boy, I feel like a movie star. He takes pictures. What do they do this? Now, when you go through and do this out, you've got to make sure you know this. We discussed it the other day. I'm telling you now, we are not aiming for you to get some 70, some 80 business on this exam. You very well may not know how to do a question or two. But I'm going to go out of my way to make sure we cover every possible question that's on it. This was on the last Regents exam, and they did not give the students the formula. So you can imagine if you're grading the exam, it's probably the easiest question because no one's getting any points on it. So you need to make sure you understand what this is exactly. This is your half-life formula. The end amount is equal to the initial amount times 1/2 to the t over h power. Time over half-life. Let's take a look now at what's there for this question. A radioactive sample has a half-life of 2 years and an initial mass of 90. How long will it take it to lose 10 grams? Round your answer to the nearest 10. Well, our formula is A equals A sub 0 times 1/2 to the t over h power. Now I'm going to make my plugs in. So looking at what's there, Alyssa, what replacements am I going to make into this formula? Keep going. What are we solving for? Let's ask that. T, so that's locked in. Over 2. What didn't you tell me yet? Yeah, what is A going to be? Read the question. What? That's the common mistake. What is it, Johannes? Why is it 80? It's seeing how long it takes to lose just 10 grams. So take the initial minus the 10. Now, from here, what's your first step going to be? Trevor? So we get, I don't want to ruin it, 80 divided by 90 is 8/9, is equal to 1/2 t over 2 power here. What do we do now once we're at this point, Chloe? Perfect. So t over 2 is going to be equal to log with a base of 1/2, and then we're going to take that and log base 1/2 of 8/9. What do we do now to get an answer for t? Taylor? So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2, so those are going to reduce out. You can go right into the calculator and type this whole mess in. You do 2 times the log or the log expression times 2. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you close off the argument. Go into your calculators and evaluate this out. What?
Sorry, when you solve this out, and like
Mhm.
you need, like obviously you need to like log it out, I guess, and then multiply it by 2.
Yeah.
Do you need to show like the 2 individual steps, or can you just combine them when you show the work?
Did you show as much as I did? We'll say that. Okay. Now, when we get here, what is it to the nearest tenth of a year? What did we say? It was 0.3? Okay. Can you check that by plugging it in? Sure. More of the same. Some more. Take a look at 16. How long will it take you to quadruple your money if it's invested at that rate, compounded continuously, solve algebraically? I'm going to ask you this. What formula do you need to know to start off 16? 5 people? Make sure you're going to have to make sure that someone calls my name. Got it? You think you'll know? Tyler?
Would be applied to 8 times to the RT power.
Now, this is the part that always I find so comical. Because people go, well, wait a minute. I don't know what the initial amount is, nor do I know what the end amount is, right? Guess what you do? What? Make them up! And let's pick some easy numbers. Someone was like, well, I don't know, like, what if I have like $75? Why are you making life hard on yourself? If you want to quadruple your money and you're trying to make it simple, what's a good money amount you want to start with?
Oh wait.
What? Someone said $1. And then now I don't want to ruin it. And if you're nervous that you're going to cramp up or you need some water, you can go grab it. If you want to quadruple your $1, how much dollars are you going to have at the end? 4. So how about we do 4 equals 1 e to the rate, which is what? 0.08 t? Get real. What?
Is it okay if you say P equals PERT? Or
You could, I mean, yeah, and then you divide both sides by p, and you'd be left with just 4. Same thing here. This is going to leave me with 4e to the 0.08 t power. I go through now, log this, so natural log of 4 is going to be equal to 0.08 t. Divide both sides by 0.08. What is that going to come out to give me? Hands up, please, when you can tell me what the approximate value is going to be. Jonathan? 17.3. That's an ish. I didn't even put rounding in. Don't yell at me, please. Questions on that? Yeah.
In this circumstance, what would you use?
It'll be years. Okay. Now, take a look at the next one, 17. A city finds residents are moving to the suburbs. Its population is declining steadily at that amount. Given that the initial population was that much, how long will it take for it to decline half of its initial number? Solve algebraically, round to the nearest 10. What model is this going to require us to use? This requires you to pay attention. What model is this requiring us to use, Jonathan? No. It says something in there. This is not the 1 minus r. What? Nope. The continuous decay, that's your PERT formula. Again, why? What word is in there? Think of it this way. We discussed it before. The difference is if you do generic exponential decay, that means that the decline happens once a year. Is our decline happening at one time? Like December 31st, all of these residents leave on one day. Is that what's happening, yes or no? No. It's continuous, which means it's your PERT. Now let's figure out how to plug into the PERT, because this is where it gets good. What do we need to have on the outside here? Hands up, please, when you can tell me. How much? 500,000. Yeah. Is equal to 1 million. Now, what is our rate going to be? This is the part you've got to challenge yourself. What? There you go. Why is it negative 0.04? Because it's decay. So I'm going to divide both sides by the million, so we get 1/2 is equal to e to the negative 0.04t. Divide, by the way, we'll put this in natural log now. So the natural log of 1/2 is going to be equal to negative 0.04t. Divide both sides by it, yada yada, go through. Hands up, please, when you can tell me what this is going to come out to be to the nearest 10th. What do you got?
17.3.
Did you notice something about a lot of my answers when I was doing this? And what other number am I a big fan of? 64. Now, let's go back. Here's some that I love because it's going to challenge you a little bit. Take a look. Now, there's actually a property in here that we should be able to recognize. But I want us to first look at question... do C. You actually should be able to answer C right now. Hands up, please, when you can tell me what C would come out to be. What's there? What should C be?
We don't have it.
You don't have yours?
It's on there.
15?
Oh,
Now, see how they turn on you, how quickly they are? They're monsters. I mean, you people are vicious. Ugh. Who can tell me, loves, what C is going to become? No calculator necessary. Go right into that calculator, please. You're smarter than that. Apply your log rules. 5.
Would be equal to 5 pi times the natural log of b, which is 1.
Put that power down front, so 5 pi times the natural log of e, and what's the value of the natural log of e? Count. 1, so what's 5 pi times 1? 5 pi, yeah. Next one up, you've got to recognize this, and this is very awkward to see. We're not going to go into the full explanation as to why, but if I have 5 raised to the log base 5 power, those are inverse operations. So you're left with just the argument. If I have 5 raised to the log base 5 power, those are inverse, because isn't the log the inverse of the exponential? And then 5 to that power is the exponential. So it leaves me with 3 minus whatever your argument is. Now, this is the part where I get nervous if you can't do this. What's this final answer going to be? You give me what it is. Do the algebra out and hands up, please, when you can tell me. Chloe? Don't forget to distribute, yeah. Negative 4x. Look at B. What does e to the natural log of 2a minus 12 power simplify to? Maybe that'll help you. What does e raised to the natural log of 2a minus 12 power, what's that going to be, Johannes? Put everything together, this would be 2a minus 6. Questions on that? Now, this I would simplify and work your way around. You can do all of that. Now, go home. Know your stuff, guys. I'm giving you actual Regents questions on there. There might be a graph, there might be a couple. Know your stuff. Got it? Do your best. Be the angels I know you are. should we give cash prizes for hundreds?
Yes.
Yes? How much money?
A lot.
A lot? How about $500? $1,000?
Thank you, Noah, for your generous donation.
It's not mine.
It's not, no, oh, no is, wait, I gotta give the money?
Yeah.
I'll give you 5 cents. I'll throw the nickel right at you. Wouldn't it be wonderful? You walk in the door and you get hit in the head with a quarter. Congratulations, you got 100 with extra credit. Is that fair, Jack? To throw money at people when they get the grade? Maybe. Maybe. Have a wonderful day, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Wonderful. I can't wait. Sit down on that side. Oh, that's fine. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day, love. See you later, bud.
That way.
Peter, don't throw your shoe at me anymore, okay? All right, thank you.
Always remember, guess what I'm signing up for soon?
What?